Hello and welcome to this comparison. I have in front of me two robot mowers that I really appreciate. On one side the Yuka Mini from Mammotion and on the other side the Navimow i105 from Segway.
And maybe today you're hesitating between these two robot mowers and you don't really know which one to choose, which one will be more suitable for your garden, for your budget. Well, that's what we're going to see in detail in this video. First, I will start with the similarities, then we'll see all the differences between these two robots. Before we begin, know that you have the link of each of the robots in the video description. In terms of similarities, first, they are both wire-free robot mowers, which will operate with an RTK antenna.
The RTK antenna will allow very good accuracy throughout your garden.
And recently, Mammotion released the iNavi feature, which will allow the robot to no longer need the RTK antenna. It's a rather handy technology. They both have 4 wheels, including 2 notched driving wheels. The wheels of the Navimow are much bigger and thinner, while those of the Yuka Mini are wider and much less big. And on each of the robots, we find 2 pivoting wheels. There are a few small differences. Those of the Yuka Mini seem to have small notches. Those of the Navimow also have slight small notches. Well, I don't think that makes a big difference. Those of the Yuka Mini are slightly bigger compared to the Navimow. For these two robot mowers, the installation is ultra simple and fast.
Overall, I didn't find that one robot was more annoying than the other to install. Since it's the same RTK system, it remains very simple.
Both robot mowers will be able to avoid obstacles precisely. On the Navimow, we'll find the vision fence camera at this level, which will allow it to detect almost all objects precisely. I was actually rather surprised because it detects very well.
The Yuka Mini, same thing. I was surprised because it also detects very well, and it will detect thanks to its front camera.
And on both robots, we will be able to adjust the cutting height from 20 millimeters to 60 millimeters, also precisely and easily. On the Yuka Mini, you just have to press like this, and on the Navimow, you don't need to press, you just turn, and then you can really adjust with millimeter precision.
Whereas on the Yuka, it will be more like 5 millimeters by 5 millimeters.
We find a cutting deck for each of the robots. They will both also be water resistant.
However, it is recommended to cover the robot with a robot shelter.
The Yuka Mini will be IPX6 and the Navimow IP66. Of course, with both robots, you will be able to program, create different zones, create corridors, passages, and they are both guaranteed for 3 years.
You will also be able, on both robots, to control the robot mower remotely, provided you have the 4G module. On the Navimow, that's an extra option that we'll see just after, and there is no bumper on these two robot mowers.
They both weigh about 10 kilograms, which is very light to carry, and there is a carrying handle.
So here, it's located here on the Navimow and here on the Yuka.
And you will not be required to have Wi-Fi on both robots. It's not mandatory to operate the robot throughout the garden. It will be useful for updates. We will now look at all the differences there are. First, the drive wheels of the Navimow will be at the front. Those of the Yuka Mini will be at the back. I don't think that makes a big difference. Well, at least I didn't really notice. On the Navimow, there will be no possibility of having a video feed on your smartphone, while on the Yuka Mini, you will be able to have a possible video feed thanks to its front camera. The Navimow won't have a rain sensor. However, it will refer to the weather at your place so that when rain is announced, logically, it will go park itself under the shelter, whereas the Yuka Mini has a small rain sensor here, which will allow it to detect rain in real time. On the Navimow, there will be a small screen with several buttons. On the Yuka, there won't be a screen. However, we will find buttons to control it directly on the robot.
Regarding the RTK signal, to know if the signal is good, here we can see that there is a small color on the Navimow.
So here it's orange, it will be green when the signal is good, red as soon as it's not good. And on the Yuka, however, there will be no signal. The signal, you will know it through the app.
We'll find lighting on the Yuka Mini and also on the Navimow. Well, I didn't test it actually, so I'm not sure, to be checked.
Anyway, the Yuka Mini will have lighting to mow at night and detect, of course, objects at night. In terms of the blades, the Navimow will have 3 blades. The Yuka Mini will have 5 blades.
So for each of the robots, these are blades that can be changed 4 times. So you can flip them one way, then the other.
There will be spare blades included. The Navimow will be able to go on slopes of up to 30%, while the Yuka Mini will be able to go up to 45% max.
But to be honest, the Yuka Mini, I think it's better not to go beyond 35% because otherwise the rear wheels might skid.
That's experience talking, and that's my opinion.
I'd say more like 35%, 40% max for the Yuka Mini.
As for mowing areas, the Navimow will be able to go on surfaces of up to 500 square meters, 600 square meters in the app. And for the Yuka Mini, we will find two versions, the 600 square meter version, which can go up to 800 square meters in the app, or the 800 version for 800 square meters, and it can go up to 1200 square meters with this version. These two can be found on the Mammotion website. Then we have two other Yuka Minis, the 500 and the 700, which will only be available on Amazon. The 500 can go on surfaces up to 700 square meters, and the 700 can go on surfaces up to 1100 square meters. However, the battery life will be 4.5 amp for those versus 6.1 for the Yuka Mini 800. In terms of charging time, you should count about 90 minutes for a full charge. The Navimow for the 600 square meter version, 90 minutes. The 800 square meter version, 230 minutes. That's 3 times more battery life compared to the Navimow. So for the 800 version, the mowing time per charge will be 60 minutes. The Yuka Mini, 55 minutes, and 150 minutes for the Yuka Mini 800, longer because it has a bigger battery. The cutting width will be 18 centimeters for the Navimow, and the Yuka Mini 19 centimeters. The battery, well, it wasn't specified on the Navimow. I suppose it's around 2.4 amp. The Yuka Mini, 2.4 amp for the 600 and 6.1 amp for the 800 version. As for 4G, on the Navimow there will be a 4G box that you have to buy separately. It costs about 100 euros and includes a 1-year subscription. Then I don't really remember the prices. I think it's 30 euros or 50 euros per year, whereas at Mammotion the robot comes with a 1-year 4G subscription included, no need to buy an extra box. Then it will be 50 euros per year. So this will be useful for having video feedback, for example on the Yuka Mini across your entire garden on your smartphone. It's very convenient if you go on vacation to know exactly where the robot is, to start it remotely, and in case of theft as well, it will send you an alert on your phone. Also for updates, if you don't have Wi-Fi in your garden, well, with 4G, the updates will be done automatically.
For the RTK antenna mount with Segway, there's an additional option if you want to mount it on a wall. On the Yuka Mini, you can do it with the new models because there's a mount that can be adapted. So you can place it against a wall, no need for an extra accessory.
Regarding noise level, I couldn't verify it. It seems that the Navimow was very quiet. The Yuka Mini makes a little noise. Still acceptable, so it's hard to say for both robots. As for the app, both applications are very intuitive, so that's one of the common points. Now, can we adjust the robots more or less? Before, I know you couldn't really adjust the Navimow's movement, it was automatic. The Yuka Mini now, I think you can. So on that point, well, it's evolving, the app gets updated. It's been a while, I admit, since I restarted the Navimow. Before giving you my final opinion, look here, on the Yuka Mini, you can access the battery from the back. You can easily unclip it. On the Navimow, it's normally underneath. If I remember correctly, I think it's still accessible, needs to be verified. In terms of price too, there's a big difference. Actually, it will depend on the model you choose. At Mammotion, the Segway is listed at 1000 euros without accessories, and the Yuka Mini you can find starting from 900 euros or even less. I'll put the details in the description, but you can get a 50 euro discount, always good to take. So you can get the Yuka Mini 600 for only 850 euros. Where can you order these two robot mowers? You can either order them on Amazon or directly on the official site for both robots. So of course you'll find all the links in the video description. On the Mammotion site you get 50 euros off your first order. On Navimow, I don't know. Same thing, I'll put all the details in the description. My opinion on these two robots, they are good robot mowers with a very good price-performance ratio. Perfect for a small, rather flat garden with a bit of slope, but not too much, at a rather affordable price. If you have any questions about these two robots, feel free to ask them in the comments. I'll answer all the questions. I hope you'll make your choice between these two robot mowers. See you next time. Take care. Ciao, ciao.